Stop doing this. It might feel like you're helping your plants, but in reality, you could be slowly killing them. Every day, people repeat the same simple habit, believing it's the key to healthy growth. It looks harmless. It feels responsible. It even gives you a sense of control. But beneath the surface, something dangerous begins to happen. And the worst part is you won't notice it right away. Because by the time the signs appear, the damage has already started. In a quiet garden, there's a farmer who cares deeply about every plant. Every morning begins the same way, walking through rows of crops, checking leaves, touching the soil, making sure everything looks right. There's pride in the process, a belief that attention and consistency are the keys to success. Watering becomes part of the routine, a daily habit, something that feels necessary, even when nothing seems wrong. The watering can is always nearby. Soil is checked quickly from the surface. If it looks dry, more water is added. If the weather feels warm, even more is poured in. The idea is simple. More care should lead to better results. And in the beginning, it seems to work. The plants grow. Leaves expand. Everything looks healthy on the outside. But appearances can be misleading. Slowly, small changes begin to appear. The leaves aren't as vibrant as before. Growth starts to slow down. Some plants begin to droop slightly, especially during the day. It doesn't seem serious at first, just a minor issue, something that can be fixed with more attention and more water. So the response is immediate. More water is added. More care is given. The routine becomes even stronger. But instead of improving, the condition begins to worsen. Leaves turn yellow. Stems feel weaker. And confusion starts to grow because everything that's being done is supposed to help. What isn't visible above the surface tells a completely different story. Beneath the soil, the roots are struggling. The constant moisture is filling the tiny air spaces that roots depend on. Oxygen disappears, and without it, the roots begin to weaken. They stop growing deeper. They lose their strength, and in some cases, they begin to rot. At this point, something feels wrong. The routine hasn't changed. The effort hasn't decreased. But the results no longer match the work being put in. That's when the first real question appears. What if the problem isn't what's missing, but what's being overdone? The soil is examined more carefully. Not just the surface, but deeper. And that's when the truth becomes clear. The soil isn't just moist, it's saturated. Heavy, dense, almost lifeless. Instead of supporting growth, it's suffocating it. And the roots, once expected to thrive, are now trapped in an environment that's working against them. This is the moment everything begins to shift. Instead of adding more water, something different happens. The watering stops. Not completely, but intentionally. Space is given. Time is allowed. The soil is left to breathe. And for the first time, the focus changes from doing more to doing less. At first, nothing dramatic happens. The plants don't suddenly transform, but slowly, something begins to improve. The soil starts to feel lighter, less heavy, more balanced. The roots begin to recover, and as they do, the plant above starts to respond. Leaves regain their color. Growth becomes more stable. Stems feel stronger. The drooping begins to disappear. And the most important change happens where it matters most, underground. The roots begin to expand again, not just downward, but outward, searching, strengthening. That's when the realization becomes undeniable. Plants don't grow stronger with constant attention. They grow stronger when given the right conditions. Too much water doesn't help them. It weakens them. It removes the very thing they need to survive, balance. Healthy growth isn't about control. It's about understanding. Roots need oxygen just as much as they need water. Soil needs time to recover between cycles. and plants need the opportunity to develop strength on their own. When everything is constantly provided, nothing is forced to grow stronger. Once balance is restored, the results become clear. Plants require less maintenance. They become more resistant to stress. They handle heat better. Even pests seem less attracted to them because strength built naturally lasts longer. The routine changes, not by adding more steps, but by removing unnecessary ones. Watering becomes intentional, not automatic. Observation replaces assumption, and over time, the results speak for themselves. Sometimes the biggest mistakes don't come from neglect. They come from doing too much, from trying too hard, from believing that more effort always leads to better results. But nature doesn't work that way. So the next time you reach for water, pause. Look closer. Think deeper. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for your plants is to give them less. And understanding that simple shift can change everything.